morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sand Hills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, fresh off of 3 hours and 50 minutes of fine sleep according to the Fitbit. Of course, with me in the studio, the star of the program, the retired Colonel Jeff Drummond. Good morning, Colonel.
Hey, good morning, Moore County. Good morning, unfortunate Aberdeen, is the pilot's failing pamphlet and insert holder refers to you. Hey, it's a beautiful morning out there. You need to get outside, get in that sunlight, kill some COVID. You know, if you're sitting around in your basement like Joe Biden, your brain is going to turn to mush. He's out there saying stupid stuff again yesterday. So get outside. Enjoy your day.
It's those moments of total confusion.
Yeah, he's a fool.
Don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on the live video stream. That's up and running at talk973.com or talk1041.com. Both addresses will get you to the right place. Go to the top of the home page, and the link is right there for the video. If you're on your mobile device, fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the Leader Man. Leader Man, all one word, spelled like it sounds. And put that into the search for the right results. If you're on your mobile device, just needing an audio stream, that's easy too. Fire up a streaming service and put WEEB into the parameters or to the search engine there. And if you're on our website, that Listen Live tabs located in the upper right-hand corner of every page at talk973.com or talk1041.com. Click that Listen Live button once, and you're listening that quick. All right, weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area. We got improving conditions. Let's see. For today, partly cloudy, an isolated thunderstorm, lower humidity. Dew points are going to be in the low 60s today. That's like heaven around here in the summertime. You know, we like it down in the 50s and 40s, but after 3 days now of 73 plus dew points, this will feel substantially nicer on your skin. So partly cloudy today, isolated thunderstorms, 84 for a high. Then tonight, partly cloudy, no mention of rain, a low of 65. Saturday, partly cloudy, 20% chance of a thunderstorm brewing up late in the day, high of 83, and those dew points will stay down right through the weekend. Saturday, partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorm, Saturday night it is. Look for a low of 65, and Sunday, partly cloudy, scattered showers, high of 81. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are variable at 6, visibility wide open at 10 statute miles. Pressure is 3016, dew points at a great 61, humidity 78%. It is sunny and 68 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 7:15, 15 past the hour on this TSIF. Thanks, Steve. It's Friday. I guess looking at what's happened in the news lately, of course, Seattle has gone all wussy in that they've allowed the demonstrators / Antifa,
the insurrectionists,
to block off 6 city blocks around their town hall and literally take it over, along with extorting businesses.
Oh yes, yeah. What's he named himself, the king or the god or something? The guy that's taken over this thing, and that's the first thing he did was put armed guards checking the papers of everyone who comes and goes, even if you live there. Yeah. Goes and extorts all the businesses, takes his graft from the businesses, takes anything he wants from the businesses, goes in individual houses and takes all their food and anything else they feel they need. Yeah, there you go. There's some liberty and freedom and justice for George Floyd, in the name of George Floyd. There you go.
And, of course, in a policeless society, which is what they have there, you dial 911, nobody shows. And these looters just take it with them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, this is like the big commune in Paris, and 150 years ago, more or less. Yeah, it's just ridiculous. These clowns. Shut off the water, turn off the electricity. Put a cordon around it. If they have 6 blocks, well, you go 18 blocks out or whatever you need, and put a cordon and start clearing houses and move in as you go, and start putting these people on their face and lock them up.
Yeah. But that would take the police or the FBI.
Well, it'll take.
But I think Donald Trump tipped his hat last night with Harris Faulkner and said that if they have to go back in, it won't be with the military. It will be with the FBI.
It'll be civilian counterinsurgency type trained people. There'll be a lot of former military in there, but yeah, this is it's out of hand, and no matter what Trump does, they'll play just the opposite role. They're criticizing him now for mishandling these riots, and why should Trump be the guy to handle a riot in Seattle or Minneapolis or anywhere else? This stuff, Portsmouth, Virginia, untold riots, and it's all Trump's fault. But if he goes in there and handles it, which he will eventually, if local authorities don't, then he'll be the dictator and all this kind of stuff. So it doesn't matter what he does.
No.
It's just going to,
Well, it's a catch-22 situation for him.
Right, yeah. He's wrong no matter which way he falls. He's not acting fast enough. Oh, he acted with a heavy hand. Oh, he did this. Oh, just like the clowns that burned the church there in Lafayette Park outside the White House. Hey, let's clear the park and push the perimeter back. And, oh, yeah, they used gas. Oh, yeah, they did this. They did that. And it was just a peaceful protest. No, it wasn't. It was a bunch of thugs and insurrectionists, and they got what they deserved. Well, actually, they didn't get what they deserved. They deserved a good butt kicking, but they didn't get it. They got pushback.
Well, we'll see how it plays out, particularly over the weekend. They're not going to let them sit there forever and illegally take over part of this country. Although it'd be nice if they just take over California. And it would be part of this country.
California wouldn't be missed. But here's the thing. They're doing all this stuff to these people, and who's being hurt? Primarily minority populations are being hurt by all of this. I'm talking to my friend whose son is a police officer up in Portsmouth, Virginia, and they're going through and they're doing all the garbage that they're doing everywhere else. And who's being hurt? That's primarily a minority population up there. Black businessmen, other minority businessmen, and civilians and homeowners, etc., are the ones that are being hurt the most by all of this.
Yes, and they also have a list of demands before they'll disband, and that is, there are 19 of them now. I can't remember all 19, but they want no police force. They want free education, free food, free housing, free medical. It just goes on and on.
And the sad thing is, when you go look at these are white communists, insurgents, and insurrectionists, anarchists that are doing this. This isn't primarily black people. This is primarily white knuckleheads out of that have received their training over in Europe and elsewhere, and they're the ones that are doing this, and they're hurting the black people. And in the name BLM, in the name of George Floyd, and et cetera. It's got nothing to do with him at this point. Nothing to do with George Floyd. They could care less about George Floyd.
Well, it stopped being about George Floyd quite a while ago.
Oh, yeah. Well, within days, within a day or two, anyway.
All right, let's move on. Let's see if we can put a smile on the Colonel's face early with the best of the late-night eunuch boys from last night.
Authorities in South Carolina are looking for a man who recently broke into a closed Waffle House restaurant and made multiple meals for himself. Wow, that's insane. a Waffle House was closed?
Around the country, protesters aren't waiting for cities and counties and are pulling down monuments to Confederate history.
Last night in Richmond, protesters tore down the statue of former Confederate President Jefferson Davis.
Yeah, if people are upset about Confederate statues coming down, they're going to be really mad when they hear what happened to the Confederacy.
NASCAR announced that it has banned Confederate flags at all events, but if it makes you feel better, you're still welcome to cheer for whoever comes in second.
You know, actually, rather pointed comment there about, hey, they'll be disappointed to find out what happened to the Confederacy because literally, I would be willing to bet 80+% of these clowns don't even know who those statues are there to represent and what they were there for.
They don't even know who fought in the Civil War.
No, well, exactly. You've seen that time and again. Hey, Civil War. What was it about, et cetera? And college students.
They went out on the beach to talk to college. Waters World did to talk to college students, and asked them on July 4th, what are we celebrating?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
What famous event happened right then?
Yeah. So
nobody got it right.
This whole thing is ginned up by an insurgency, a communist insurgency, and the general population probably has no clue what this is all about. Really, in historical context, really don't understand it.
Right. Hi. Well, let's suppose you have a girlfriend or significant other or spouse.
Wife? Yeah, spouse. Okay, all right. Yeah.
And you're at the drive-in of your typical Starbucks.
No.
And Starbucks has a strawberry-flavored drink on its menu called the Pink Drink. But women are pranking their boyfriends on TikTok by asking them to order a Pinky Dinky. So they look really stupid. Here's a girl that actually did it to her boyfriend.
Anything else?
Yeah, and I'll have a pinkity drinkity for the lady.
What is it?
Pinkity drinkity?
The pink drink?
If that's what it's, yeah. She set me up. Okay, the pink one.
That is the best. Like that made
okay. Dang it.
Oh, yeah, that's, yeah. Hey, you got Prince Albert in a can? Sure. Okay, no problem. Yeah. That was probably Matt there. And,
okay. Some families surprised their UPS driver with signs, cards, and gifts because he's been like family to them for the past 13 years. Here they are sharing that moment. His name is Greg Watkins, and this happened last month in Smithtown, New York.
You're an essential worker, but you've always been essential to us. You know our families, we know your families, we adore you, and we just want to say thank you.
So amazing. Please, can I have copies?
Again, it's been a pleasure to be in this area and just to get to know everybody here. I'm watching your kids grow. I'm watching them start to drive. I'm getting old. I have about another 2 years on this route, so I'm blessed to know each and every one of you. And just thank you so much.
Yes, and I've enjoyed driving this route, particularly here since I've had affairs with all of you by now.
Yeah, okay.
Let's see here. A new study found humans are really bad at telling the difference between a cough caused by a virus or something non-illness related like a tickle in your throat. Well, we dug into the study and found a bunch of audio clips from YouTube they analyzed. Let's see if you can tell the difference. One of these coughs is someone with a virus, and the other is from someone who just ate chili peppers. Can you tell the difference? Here's cough number 1. And here's cough number 2. Which one was the virus and which one was the chili peppers?
Who knows? Who cares? Somebody's coughing. Run away. I have no clue.
Listen, one more time. Number one and number two.
Well, it's supposed to be a dry cough if you have this virus. So which one of those? The first one sounded like a drier cough than the other. So I don't know.
You're saying the first one's the virus cough?
It's a guess. Sure, why not?
You're correct.
Yeah.
It is the virus cough. The virus cough once again. And the clearing the throat cough type thing. There you go.
Hard to tell. It was a guess, people. It really was. Yeah, as soon as you hear somebody cough, man, you just book, go the other way. Get away from me.
We got new sponsor today, Flexiderm.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Flexiderm, the amazing anti-wrinkle cream made from flex tape and desperation. Flexiderm.
Okay.
And last week, a racehorse named Dr. Fauci made his debut at Belmont Park. In fact, because of the coronavirus, many owners are giving their racehorses names related to the pandemic, like social distancing, self-isolation, flatten the curve, herd immunity, and no spectators. These have all been registered with the Jockey Club. So how did Dr. Fauci do in the race? Well, here's the call.
They're coming around the final bend, and Flatten the Curve has a big lead on herd immunity. Quarantine is in third, followed by Dr. Fauci and hydroxychloroquine. Way in the back is Bath Soup, who is faltering as the entire pack leaves him behind. And they're in the home stretch. 50 yards to go, and Dr. Fauci is charging fast on the outside. Here comes Quarantine, pulling up past herd immunity. Dr. Fauci and Quarantine, neck and neck, coming on strong. But it's not enough as Flatten the Curve crosses the finish line with a solid 6-foot lead. Dr. Fauci takes second by a nose. Quarantine in third. Coming in fourth, hydroxychloroquine, followed by Don't Sneeze on Me in fifth place. Tonight's Corona Derby has been brought to you by the Vaccine Makers of America, who remind you, hold your horses. We're working on it.
That was cute.
And somebody asked people from around the world to share weird things that are taboo in their country.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what some of them had to say.
In Turkey, it's a taboo if you cross your legs in front of a elder family member or elder people in general.
If you eat ants, you will become forgetful.
One thing that is really taboo to do in Sweden is to sit next to someone in, let's say, a train. If you do that, you will be considered crazy. We don't like to speak to strangers.
Pineapple on a pizza, cheese on the fish. No.
We don't talk about sex, we don't talk about drugs, we don't talk about alcohol, we don't talk about these things. Although we talk a lot about them in secret, though.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, there's all kinds of weird things, like places where they, I don't get into some of the weird things going on.
Well, some good news for you. Apparently, hot pants are back in style.
All right.
Who wears short shorts? We wear short shorts. If you dare wear short shorts, dare for short shorts.
Yeah. I guess you can find those at your local beach or something like that.
Yeah, you'd probably find some in the antique clothing store.
Okay. Let's see. People are calling for the Disney ride Splash Mountain to be changed because it's based on a racially troubling movie called Song of the South. Now, Disney quit airing that movie many years ago, and they will never re-air it again because of its social connotations. But so they got the ride Splash Mountain, and they have some alligators sitting there singing, and nobody knows the characters from the movie because the current generation has never seen it.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Yeah, I remember that when they.
So don't see the problem, but they want to rename things. Here's How Do You Do, which is written for the ride itself.
How do you do? Pleased to meet you. Fine, how are you? Nice seeing you. How you come on? How to do? Pretty good show as you're born. Pretty good show as you're born. Pretty good show as you're born. How do you do? Not a pleasant meeting. How do you do? Say it when you meet.
Are you finding this offensive?
Well, no. The language, there's no inappropriate language in there. This is just people looking for things to, make a point about. It's stupid.
They're just looking for something to bitch about.
Howdy! Pretty good show as you're born. Stop jumping around, you're running a breath. Why don't you sit back and calm yourself? You can carry on now if you must. We'll do what we like, cuz that suits us.
Yeah, when did that movie came out? What, back in the 50s, didn't it? That movie's ancient.
No, I think it came out after the 50s. But anyway, like I said, the last several generations haven't even seen it. So,
I haven't watched any Disney stuff since I was a little kid. It's been a long time. I barely remember that movie.
I just remember a brown bear.
Yeah. See, I'd have to watch it again. I do. I don't remember it at all.
A hot new TikTok trend is spilling water on your baby to see how they react.
Spilling water on your baby to see how they react. Okay.
Here's what one baby did.
That's not funny!
Yeah, there you go.
Went on to say,
go yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, want to torture the kid tonight? Bring some cold water. All right. Did that. All right. 2 college students in L.A. used their spring break to create a nonprofit called the Farm Link Project that helps farmers donate unsold food to food banks. Their first donation was 11,000 eggs, and they picked them up in a rented truck. Now they've got a team of 2,000 people behind them and have helped donate over 2 million pounds of food.
How can they be dumping 3.7 million gallons of milk every day? Well, you have lines at food banks that are sometimes miles long. We were like, how are we going to get this food? So we rented a truck, basically, and I drove it myself. Once we were successful at that, we realized this was something that we could do again. It was a repeatable process, and it wasn't as complicated as it seemed. Every farmer we've talked to has said the worst day in their life has been the day that they've had to plow under crops. So they're willing to do anything to get it out. They just need a little bit of financial help, to pay the wages of their workers.
And here's something that's right down your alley, Colonel. General Mark Milley is the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. And he apologized yesterday for attending President Trump's photo op outside St. John's Church near the White House last week. He didn't say whether or not it should have happened or if the protesters should have been cleared out. He just said he shouldn't have been there because it sent the wrong message and about the military's role.
As many of you saw the result of the photograph of me at Lafayette Square last week, that sparked a national debate about the role of the military in civil society. I should not have been there. My presence in that moment and in that environment created a perception of the military involved in domestic politics. As a commissioned uniformed officer, it was a mistake that I have learned from.
That didn't create any kind of perception whatsoever. It just
supposedly it's against the rules or whatever that a guy in uniform cannot be in a political situation.
Yes, that's true. I'm not sure that's a political situation.
That's what he's referred to.
That's an insurgency. That's an insurrection. That is a mob. That is not a political. That was not the that was created by the newspapers, by the fake media, saying that that was a peaceful protest, political protest. It was not. It was a riot. And I see no, he's there with the president. The president is commander-in-chief. There's nothing wrong with that. And, he's sworn to uphold the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Normally the military is not going to be used for law enforcement on American soil, but that is was not a political protest. That is an insurgency. That's what we're undergoing here, people. This is not politics. What's going on in Seattle is not a political. Well, they're establishing a political entity. They just said they're their own country in that 6 blocks of Seattle. That's not that's not a political protest.
Well, I say we go invade them with our military.
Well,
clear them out.
You don't need to go in there with tanks and crush them like the Chinese would do to their own people, or like the Russians would do to their own people. Turn the electric and water off. I mean, there's plenty of ways to take care of that. They'll come out of there pretty quick.
Well, either way, I think I think ultimately the FBI will go in.
Well, they should already be out of there. 3 days with no food, and they should be laying on the ground. You just go in there and police them up with a couple of dustbins and a trash can. Don't allow any more food in there. Turn the water off, turn the electric off, and they'll come out.
Well, they have entry points into their so-called kumbaya land there.
And that's what I said.
You got to be searched by a guy carrying a weapon.
You set your own perimeter outside of that, and you keep anything from going in there. That's how you handle that. Isolate them.
Well, we'll see how it ends up, but it needs to come to a head pretty quick. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to see other areas popping up.
The areas already are popped up. These things like this are all over. They're in Detroit. People just don't understand they're already out there.
All right, 8 o'clock, time for the news. We'll be back on the backside.
Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. We'll see less rain showers this afternoon. Partly cloudy sky in most areas with highs back in the low to mid-80s. Can't rule out a stray shower, but we won't see storms like we saw across the area yesterday. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We start back in the low to mid-60s for Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, partly cloudy, stray shower possible. Highs in the low to mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. More than a dozen states now experiencing a rise in the number of COVID-19 cases. That's raising concern of a possible resurgence of the virus.
Arizona's been seeing more than 1,000 new coronavirus cases every day, more than double the number in early May, before the governor lifted stay-at-home rules. Some critics are demanding new restrictions be imposed. But Republican Governor Doug Ducey says hospitals can handle the new rush of patients.
It's my belief that come what may, we have capacity.
The Carolinas, Texas, and California are also seeing spikes. A source says the White House Coronavirus Task Force discussed a possible link to travel to Mexico, and federal researchers have been sent to investigate. I'm Jackie Quinn.
Jacksonville, Florida gets the nod to host the upcoming Republican National Convention, being moved from Charlotte after North Carolina's governor refused to guarantee a full-blown convention free of social distancing. President Trump says he's crafting a plan aimed at curbing the use of excessive force by law enforcement.
We're working to finalize an executive order that will encourage police departments nationwide to meet the most current professional standards for the use of force, including tactics for de-escalation.
Mr. Trump refusing to give in to calls to defund the police. A suspect sought in the wounding of a Central California sheriff's deputy and the targeting of others in a series of attacks has been found.
This incident is over. The suspect is deceased.
26-year-old Mason James Lira was the suspect. His father says Lira was diagnosed with mental health issues. Wall Street looking to recover at least some of what it lost in yesterday's massive sell-off. Right now, Dow futures up 504 points. S&P futures 52 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Gold. It's soaring. Are you missing it? If you have an IRA or 401k, you probably are. Less than 1% hold physical gold. We've been told by Wall Street it's for crazy people. Really? What's crazy about an asset that beats stocks 2 to 1? I'm Adam Barata, national best-selling author of the book Gold is a Better Way, owner of Advantage Gold, an Inc. 5000 member, and highest-rated gold IRA firm in the world. Gold is booming because gold is really about debt, and global debt is a pandemic. If you have an IRA or 401k, I want to give you my book for free. That's right, free. Text GOLD to 49776. That's the word GOLD to 49776. Learn why gold will outperform pumped-up stocks from this point forward. Turn your IRA into a wealth growth machine. Text the word GOLD to 49776. It's time to stop being crazy. Text GOLD to 49776.
French police protesting new measures enacted in the wake of global protests over the death of George Floyd.
Police from the union Unite SGP laid their handcuffs on the ground outside some police stations on Thursday night in a symbolic move against a new ban on chokeholds and limits to what they can do during arrests, part of government efforts to stem police brutality and racism. Immobilization techniques like chokeholds have come under growing criticism, but French police say the new restrictions go too far. France has seen several protests sparked by Floyd's death, and another is planned for Saturday. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Spanish police say they have dismantled a major human trafficking organization that smuggled Africans into Europe. The gang, suspected of bringing around 1,000 people, including children and pregnant women, from sub-Saharan Africa to Spain. News and analysis, townhall.com. Meat production has rebounded from its low point during the pandemic.
But experts say consumer prices are likely to remain high, and it will take months to work through the backlog of millions of pigs and cattle that was created this spring, creating headaches for producers. The U.S. Agriculture Department says beef, pork, and poultry plants were operating at more than 95% of last year's levels earlier this week. That was up from about 60% in April, at the height of plant closures and slowdowns. John Scott reporting.
Microsoft has become the third big tech company this week to say it will not sell its facial recognition software to police, following similar moves by Amazon and IBM. Microsoft's president and chief counsel Brad Smith calls on Congress to regulate that technology. And watching Wall Street, Dow futures up 508 points, S&P futures up 53. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, all you cigar smokers. This is Steve from the Smoke Inn located in Southern Pines. Has the coronavirus shutdown made you as miserable as me? I want to get back to smoking a cigar and have a drink with all my customers at the shop and lounge. Well, good news is here. The shop is open and you can now smoke in the lounge again. The drinking part is still on hold until the governor gives the go-ahead. So to ease your pain and suffering, as well as mine, the Smoke Inn has designated hundreds of brand-name cigars as coronavirus attitude adjusters. When buying a minimum of 10 cigars from the designated section of cigars, you will receive a refund of 50% of whatever you spent. The refund will be in the form of a gift card that can be used 24 hours after being issued, with no time limit, and can be used for cigars, drinks, and accessories. My staff says I'm out of my mind, but those who know me already knew that. Come on down to the Smoke Inn at 1545 US 1 in Southern Pines and grab a stick and say hi.
Flowland will be here for you. During the stay-at-home order, Flowland will be open for all your alternative medicine needs under the following guidelines. We offer curbside service Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday from noon till 6 p.m. Free shipping on phone orders $50 or more, and we can also be your personal shopper during this time. Just call us at 910-757-0244 for further instructions. Flowland has and will be strictly following CDC regulations while continuing to offer our essential services. We're located off Highway 1 at Aberdeen, right across the street from the Texas Roadhouse. So come by or give us a call at 910-757-0244. That number again, 910-757-0244. Flowland, Moore County's #1 CBD oil authority, and serving the Sandhills since 2000. Visit our website at shopflowland.com. Great news, cigar aficionados. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes is now open for full-time business. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday and 10 to 4 on Saturdays. Right now, if you buy a box of cigars, you'll get your choice of a t-shirt, 2 beer mugs, 2 whiskey glasses, a tumbler, torch lighter, or a nub football. For over 20 years, Matchbox has offered a wide selection of premium cigars. They're located at 15501 and Highway 1, right next to KFC in Aberdeen. Matchbox Cigars and Pipes. More of the best, less of the rest.
Starting May 25th through July 6th, Zaxby's will be overloading you with flavor. Introducing Zax Packs for 2. Get 8 pieces of our hand-breaded chicken fingers, along with 2 of our famous Zax sauces, 2 orders of crinkle cut fries, 2 buttery slices of Texas toast, and 2 22-ounce drinks. This offer is limited, so come on in and kick your lunch up a notch. Zaxby's. Friends, family, flavor. Located in Southern Pines off Highway 15501 in front of the Holiday Inn.
My name is Ward Rowland. A good insurance agent has to put the needs of his clients first. As a law enforcement officer, I spent 11 years protecting and serving my community. It is my honor and privilege to serve Moore County and North Carolina residents with their insurance needs. If you're a local small business owner, you know how important it is to be there for your customers. As a State Farm agent and small business owner in Moore County, I'm here to help you protect your small business. Talk with me or stop in today. My office is in downtown Southern Pines, 277 West Pennsylvania Avenue.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. President Donald Trump will be delivering his GOP acceptance speech in Jacksonville, Florida, while a scaled-down version of the rest of the convention will still be held in Charlotte. CBS News political analyst Leonard Steinhorn says the president should love it being in Florida because it's a key battleground state.
His path to victory, as he sees it, is through an enthusiastic base full of support in the key battleground states where people go out to vote in high numbers, and that may enable him to thread the Electoral College needle once again.
6 black Superior and District Court judges gathered in Wake County for a national reckoning on Thursday about race and racism after George Floyd's death. The judges didn't gather to protest, but gathered to pray. Superior Court Judge Vince Rozier tells ABC 11.
So that was just our way of stepping outside of the courthouse, taking off the robes, and just acknowledging that we're human too. We have hearts. We're hurting as well.
Connecticut State Police say they've captured a college student wanted for a crime spree that includes 2 murders. Trooper Jose Dolores.
Troopers and detectives from our emergency services unit, as well as members of the Department of Correction, took custody of Manfredonia and transported him from Maryland.
The Carteret County Speedway is in full speed ahead on the first race this season. It comes as Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Mandy Cohen ordered a speedway in Alamance County to shut down over concerns of the spread of the coronavirus. Carteret County Sheriff Asa Buck tells WITN News.
You can go in a restaurant and there may be 50 or 75 or 100 people, and you're allowed to have more people in an enclosed area than you are at an outside venue or an event.
A bill was introduced on the Senate floor to provide $350 bonuses to teachers. You're listening to NCN News.
Spring and the onset of summer increases the likelihood of thunderstorms. Alternative Power, your North Carolina Generac service provider, reminds you to stay alert. As a thunderstorm approaches, get out of boats and away from water. If you're caught outdoors, find a low spot away from trees, fences, and poles. Alternative Power guards homes against extended power outages with a Generac automatic standby generator. Alternative Power, North Carolina's Generac experts. See more at alternativepower.com.
2020, another big year for North Carolina politics. Republicans and Democrats battling for the state's electoral votes, competing for the governor's mansion, control of the General Assembly, the top job in the state Supreme Court. Carolina Journal covers all the action. Available each month as a free newspaper, every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
Governor Roy Cooper says his test for COVID-19 came back negative. Cooper said at a media briefing early this week he would get tested, and he revealed the result on Thursday. Many statues connected to the Confederacy are being brought down in the South. There are calls to change the name of military forts named after Confederate generals. In Los Angeles, a university is changing the name of a building.
He wasn't part of the Confederacy, but he was a proponent of eugenics, which promotes the idea of having only certain groups which are deemed superior reproduce. He was also the president for 25 years of the University of Southern California. Now the school is removing the name of Rufus von Kleinsmid from a building named after him, and a bust of von Kleinsmid has also been removed from Southern Cal's Center for International and Public Relations.
Attorney General Josh Stein has filed a lawsuit against 26 generic drug manufacturers and 10 individuals who are senior executives at those drug companies. A conference call with other attorneys general, Stein said there was a
coordinated and systematic campaign to conspire to fix prices, allocate markets, and rig bids for more than 80 different drugs.
This is Loving Day.
In here! What you doing in bed with that woman?
I'm his wife.
That's no good here.
June 12, 1967 was the day the Supreme Court struck down state bans against interracial marriage. The landmark case involving Richard and Mildred Loving was chronicled in the 2016 movie, Loving. 4 years ago, 1 in 6 newlywed couples had a spouse of a different race or ethnicity. That's more than 5 times higher than 53 years ago. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Tell that woman to come out here.
Mike Riley, NCN News.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. We're waking up to some cloud cover out there and some mild temperatures as well. We'll see less rain for today with highs back in the low to mid 80s. Partly cloudy sky at times this afternoon. Can't rule out a stray shower. Drier overnight tonight. Partly cloudy at times back in the low to mid 60s for Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, partly cloudy sky, stray shower possible. Highs in the low to mid 80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
Right now, here in the Sand Hills area, we're looking at mostly cloudy, 70 degrees, humidity 73%, 2.61, pressure 3017, winds variable at 6 and visibility at 10 statute miles. It is 8:13. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Friday morning around 11 a.m. Yesterday morning, a car and a motorcycle crashed in front of Cox Double Eagle Harley-Davidson store on Highway 15501. The driver of the motorcycle was taken by ambulance to Moore Regional Hospital in Pinehurst with serious injuries. The driver of the car was uninjured and did not need medical attention. It's unclear exactly how the accident happened, but it is being investigated by the State Highway Patrol. Fort Bragg soldiers recently completed a prestigious training program. On May 31st, the 82nd Airborne Division paratroopers completed expert infantry and the expert soldier badge training. Over 2,000 paratroopers tested for both badges. The expert infantry badge is awarded to infantry soldiers who demonstrate mastery of basic tactics, weapon systems, and equipment relevant to their profession. The expert soldier badge, approved by the U.S. Army last year, tests soldiers of any military occupational specialty to prove their expertise in basic soldiering skills. Sand Hills Classical Christian School held a groundbreaking ceremony Wednesday for a new 12,000 square foot building for 6th through 12th grade. The new building will house a science lab, computer, IT lab, fine arts suite, staff workroom, administrative suite, and bathrooms. And changes to mail-in absentee ballots rules in North Carolina to help operate a fall election during the pandemic has received tentative approval from the state Senate. The measure is a response to the expected spike in demand for absentee ballots from people at higher risk for developing complications from COVID-19. The measure expands the option for registered voters to receive an absentee ballot request form. There's $27 million for things like upgrading election security, recruiting in-person poll workers, and stocking up on personal protective equipment. That's your WEEB local news this morning from the Sand Hill Sentinel. And, of course, you can go online to sandhillsentinel.com for more information. It's 8:17, time for sports. That's next right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB.
NCN Sports, I'm Josh Zach. The PGA Tour has made a quiet return into action after being disrupted for months by the coronavirus outbreak. There was a moment of silence at the Charles Schwab Challenge at Colonial in Fort Worth Thursday to honor George Floyd. Commissioner Jay Monahan stood at the first tee and spoke about hopes of ending racial injustice. On the course, there were no fans. The first-round leaders were Justin Rose and Harold Varner III. NHL training camps will open July 10th if the league and players' union agree to resume the season. That is still contingent on the two sides figuring out health and safety protocols, as the league is also choosing cities to host the games. The NHL and Players Association say camps will also open July 10th if medical and safety conditions allow. Setting a start date for camps would allow 17% of players overseas to make arrangements to return in the light of quarantine regulations in the U.S. and Canada. After 3 Triangle players got picked in the first 27 picks in the first round of the MLB draft on Wednesday, day 2 yesterday began with a surprise. Duke signee Evan Carter, an outfielder, went 50th overall to the Texas Rangers. He wasn't even ranked by MLB's top 200 prospects. NC State pitcher Nick Swinney got the number 67 pick in the second round. He went to the Giants. ECU first baseman Alex Burleson was the 70th overall pick. He went to St. Louis. Green Hope's Liam Norris, a pitcher who committed to North Carolina, was drafted 90th in the third round by Arizona. App State pitcher Jack Hartman went in the fourth round to the Pirates. In the fifth round, North Carolina saw another one of its incoming freshman pitcher recruits, Jagger Haynes, picked up by the Padres. And Panther Creek's Ken Moreno, he was drafted by the Cubs, 147th overall. That pitcher signed with ECU. He has a decision to make. The Panthers announcing the removal of Jerry Richardson's statue at Bank of America Stadium. That's permanent. This is NCN Sports.
Introducing from Wilmington and Morehead City, North Carolina, the delivery dominators, the supply chain champions. It's the lineup that scored $15.4 billion for our state's economy and supported more than 87,000 jobs. Your very own ports team, the North Carolina Hooray!
At North Carolina Ports, we play hard for our state's economy. Now that's something to cheer about. Check out our season highlights at nccranes.com.
I'm Sean Harding, President of North Carolina Farm Bureau. During this difficult time, helping customers is our top priority. That's why North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance is returning $22 million to automobile policyholders and temporarily delaying cancellations and expirations. At Farm Bureau, we're in the people business, and I want you to know that we're here for you. And that's our promise. Helping you is what we do best.
A former UNC Charlotte star helped the Celtics to their 15th NBA World Championship on this day in North Carolina sports history.
On this day in 1984, Kinston native Cedric Maxwell scored 24 points as the Boston Celtics defeated the Los Angeles Lakers 111-102 in Game 7 of the NBA Finals in Boston Garden. It would be Maxwell's second and final World Championship with the Celtics. On this day in 2006, Ernie Young of the Charlotte Knights of the AAA International League hit his 300th minor league home run. After his retirement in 2007, Young would go on to manage the Kannapolis Intimidators of the South Atlantic League. He finished his minor league career with 319 homers. That's this day in North Carolina sports history. I'm Jeff Hamlin.
And I'm Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
We're proud to be working with our local businesses for the greatest comeback of all time.
Come together.
With Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
This is Chuck from Sunbelt Service Pros. Are you just not feeling it anymore with your AC service provider? Are you calling those guys because that's what you've always done, or because there's a sticker on the thermostat with an old phone number on it? How about this? Take a chance and you'll be thrilled to find that you're getting real value for your heating and cooling dollars. When you call Sunbelt Service Pros, you are dealing with a professional and reliable service provider. Our technicians are highly trained and certified and can quickly address any issues. Our customers find our technicians and office staff courteous, friendly, and professional throughout the whole process. We're doing something right here. You need to check us out. Find out what you've been missing and call us today. Sunbelt Service Pros at 910-944-2044 or go online to sunbeltservicepros.com.
Are you a homeowner needing to update? A builder looking for a deal without sacrificing quality? Or a property manager looking to replace damaged flooring with something more durable? At Pinecone Flooring, we have the solution for all your needs. Being nationally recognized as experts, the staff at Pinecone Flooring want to guide you in selecting the correct product to fit your lifestyle. Visit them today at 400 West Pennsylvania Avenue in Southern Pines to see their showroom with over 200,000 square feet of products and samples. Call Ellen, Robert, or Tony at 910-757-0478 to schedule your free estimate.
Hey, IHOP on 15501 in Southern Pines is now open with regular hours, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday. Dine in now with 6 feet distance between the tables. Paper menus have replaced the plastic menus for health reasons. Sanitizers are available. Servers are wearing masks. Takeout orders are still available. Drive up, an employee will come to your vehicle and take your order. Go online to ihop.com/en to see the menu and call in your order at 910-556-4589.
I just love IHOP.
At Pool Automotive, being local and family-owned isn't just a title. It's the lifeblood of our business. The moment you walk into our Aberdeen showroom, you'll be treated like family. You see, we believe that all our guests deserve quality, reliable used vehicles, and we have the inventory and finance options to make it happen. When you buy a new vehicle, the second you drive it off the lot, it's already depreciated by thousands. Before you throw that money away, come to Pool Automotive and check out our huge selection of premium vehicles. We have high-quality, off-lease vehicles, most of which are one-owner cars with low mileage and remaining factory warranties. Something else we do to save you even more? We don't charge documentation fees. Yep, you heard us right. No doc fees here. Come in today, 500 South Sandhills Boulevard in Aberdeen, or call 910-637-0057 and experience the pool advantage.
Some things just go together, like bread and butter, blue jeans and Saturdays, best friends and phone calls. And a great match? You and discounts from Erie Insurance. It's like this. Safety features in your car will have you paying less for your auto insurance. And pay off your Erie Auto policy all at once, and you'll save up to 7% more. On your homeowner's policy, you earn discounts that start at age 46 and go up each time you celebrate a birthday. There are more discounts, too, for things like home safety features and even teenage drivers. And the savings keep adding up. When you have your auto and home covered with Erie, you get a discount. Buy a life policy with us, and the savings can get even better. At Erie Insurance, above all in service means making life a little easier on you and on your wallet. Your Erie agent in Moore County is Carthage Insurance Agency. Get a quote at 910-947-2957.
Discount terms and amounts may vary by state. See your local Erie agent for details.
Need to declutter this spring? Go to Pools Buildings where everyone is approved. Just minutes from Aberdeen and Pine Bluff, Pools Buildings is your dealer for SPS, metal buildings, and Old Hickory wood buildings. Come see a huge selection of quality buildings, cabanas, garages, carports, and more. Get a lifetime warranty as low as 5% down and free delivery and setup. Go to 525 North Walnut Street in Pine Bluff or visit their Facebook or poolsbuildings.com for a quote. That's POOLES buildings.com.
In a time where supporting our local community is crucial, Sandhills Office Supply is committed to doing all we can to assist. As an essential business, we remain open, providing businesses with what they need to keep functioning. Therefore, we are offering free, no-contact delivery to those who are working remotely from home. Whether it's paper clips or office chairs, Sandhills Office Supply is ready to assist. See our full catalog online at sandhillsofficesupply.com, then call 910-692-6631. That's 910-692-6631.
As our economy gradually reopens, remember to support local.
Know you're doing the right thing and stay proud.
Be a part of the greatest comeback of all time with Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. What profession do you think would be among the most highly vetted and the most difficult to become in the world? I think it'd be an astronaut. the mental and physical testing, the background check, psychological tests, and that is just if you made it to that stage in the first place. You can't just walk in off the street and start the process. You've got to be accepted. And yet, even astronauts have done crazy things. Lisa Nowick was an astronaut. Look her up. She was charged with the attempted kidnapping of a U.S. Air Force captain she was romantically involved with and was involved with another astronaut of all things. She was charged with attempted kidnapping, burglary, assault, battery. She had driven from Houston to Orlando on her mission. She had latex gloves, a black wig, a BB pistol, pepper spray, a tan trench coat, 2-pound hammer, black gloves, rubber tubing. Then she drove 900 miles. An astronaut. Another astronaut, Ann McClain, was recently accused of improper access to her estranged wife's bank account while in outer space, for crying out loud. It was a domestic dispute, so I'm not sure who did what, but these are two astronauts, and look at the stupidity. Should we be surprised that some people will always slip through the cracks? I can't bring myself to say, defund the astronaut program, they are all dirty. That'd be stupid, wouldn't it? Condemning all astronauts for the actions of one or two? I hope everyone has a good weekend. From the Zoom Walton Zone.
Hello, everyone, and happy Friday. We'll see less rain showers this afternoon. Partly cloudy sky in most areas with highs back in the low to mid-80s. Can't rule out the stray shower, but we won't see storms like we saw across the area yesterday. Mostly clear to partly cloudy overnight tonight. We start back in the low to mid-60s for Saturday morning. Saturday afternoon, partly cloudy, stray shower possible. Highs in the low to mid-80s. I'm meteorologist Zach Malak in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is?
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Guess what day it is?
It's Friday.
It's time to
Party. Time to party.
Today is Friday.
Friday.
What time?
Morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Morning, how are you?
I'm super, thanks for asking.
These people need help mentally.
The weekend starts here.
It's showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It's time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams. Don't forget, of course, we are being heard and seen around the world on a live video stream. That's available right now at talk973.com or talk1041.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located. If you're on your mobile device, fire up YouTube and put Mornings with the Leader Man in the search to get that audio feed. If you're just looking for our video feed. If you're looking for our audio feed, little different process. You need a streaming app such as TuneIn, iTunes, or Streama. Many others will work. Just put WEEB in the search. And if you're on our website at talk973.com or talk1041.com, top right-hand corner of every page has an icon that says on the air, listen live. Click that once and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sandhills going to be a lot more tolerable today with that dew point dropping 11 points overnight. Partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms, high of 84. Dew points will be around 61 to 62. Then tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 65 tomorrow. Saturday and Sunday, it's going to be nice also for this time of year. Partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorms possible, not a big probability of it. It's for a high of 83. Still the dew points in check. Saturday night, partly cloudy, isolated thunderstorms, low of 65. Sunday, no problem with the dew point, partly cloudy with scattered showers, high of 81. And to kick off Monday, partly cloudy, showers likely in 79. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are variable at 6, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 30-17, dew point 61. Humidity 73%, is mostly cloudy and 70 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:32, 32 past the hour. Time for our Friday roundtable of
Radio Free Sand Hills.
Do what now? Radio Free Sand Hills. Our little chat fest that we have on Friday in the studio. Of course, the Colonel's here, along with Emily Stack, David Hensley, and John Zumwalt. John?
Well, good morning, everyone. The Colonel's over there with the big board. I've never seen this big of an electronic board before. He's got his finger on the buttons to cut us off if there's anything wrong. I want to start off this morning by talking with everyone about the fact that you no longer have a right to have your own opinion. You literally do not have that right. And I want to use for an example as our first topic here, J.K. Rowlings. Is that how you say that? The one that wrote Harry Potter? Rowlings.
I think it's Rowlings, maybe.
Well, she believes
Harry Potter.
Wrote Harry Potter. She believes, and I don't really know how she has the nerve to believe this, but she believes, it's her belief, that there are two sexes. She believes there is a male and a female. And she had the audacity to put that out on public, let folks know about it. I believe that too, but that's not the point. I don't care what you believe. She is being criticized, threatened, ostracized, drugged through the mud, and literally has to have protection because of what she believes. When did it become criminal almost for us to just believe something?
Well, that's the ultimate goal of political correctness. Everyone laughed when political correctness came on the scene in the late 80s, but that's the end goal, is to stifle all thought and all word that differs from the leftist approved narrative.
You know what gets me about this whole thing, and I've actually talked about this with friends that love JK, and one of them's a gay man, and he's like, why are they upset with her? She's literally one of the biggest supporters of gay rights. I mean, she even came out and said Dumbledore, one of the main characters, was gay. So it's like, this woman is on your side in all aspects.
Well, it's because they're ignorant. The same ignorant people are the people that are toppling statues of Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, so if you're not 130,000% behind us, you're against us.
Yeah, it's a purity test.
And you should not have the right to have your own belief. When you said Dumbledore, you kind of scared me. Is that one of the characters in Harry Potter?
Yeah, it's one of the main characters.
I thought that was John Denver's real name. I thought it was John Dumbledore.
He was the chancellor of the college.
Yes.
I'm going to get this out if it kills me. I thought I was having a stroke. But see, it was funny when I was going to say that, but now it's not funny anymore. So, all right, one more.
Wait. So here's the plan, right? If John has a stroke, Jeff, you fall in on the chair.
Yep.
And hopefully one of the ladies up there will call 911. But if not, the program will go on in your honor.
Well, if Simple Simon comes in and wants to hide behind the chair, just let him. Be ready to move anytime. All right, my last topic before
it's gonna be a short show.
yeah, no kidding. Before I give it to one of y'all, I want to talk about that 75-year-old man who was pushed by the police and who has become such a martyr. Now, I can't talk, nor will I, about the motives and other things about some of the black looters, rioters, and even marchers. But I can talk about this. I'm going to form a little organization and speak for 70-year-olds. And he's 70, 75, and I'm in my 70s. I'm 70. I'll be 71 next week or so. But
wait. Are you saying that you now speak for all 70-year-olds?
I'm saying I speak for no one because I can't get a word in edgewise.
Well, no, I have a point. I think you should stand up an organization that speaks for all, just like the National Organization of Women speaks for all women.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to look into that.
Yeah.
I'm going to start the National Organization for 70-year-old men, white men.
Right, and then then you speak for all 70-year-old people, whether you have their consent or, just like the NAACP speaks for all African Americans.
I get your point.
Yeah.
But I just want to speak for 70-year-old white men because I feel like that's what I'm qualified to do.
Absolutely.
And I am qualified to speak.
And they all cede that right to you.
Well, yeah, whether they like it or not, I'm speaking for them. So if you're in your 70s and you're a white man, and I'm gonna talk about that 75-year-old white man, and I imagine I speak for him too. Here's what I want to say. If you are in your 70s, you're supposed to have some semblance of wisdom that you've obtained over that many decades. And if there is a riot going on that is so bad that police in riot gear, and that's what they had, must go out and clear a certain area, and you are so stupid that you walk up to them in any manner, you can call it friendly, it doesn't matter, and they give you a little tap. Look, I saw that video. I watched it 3 times yesterday, over and over, more than that. And they pushed that guy. A normal person would have stepped back. But speaking of 70-year-olds, I know that when the police push you, you're going to fall down. Well, what do you expect, fool? You're out there in a riot. The police pushed you, and you fell down and hit your old head. You shouldn't have been there. And now they're trying to say that he was taking a helmet back, just trying to hand it to one of the police officers. Baloney. If you're so stupid as to be 70 years old, that policeman didn't beat him. He pushed him lightly. Now, all you moo-moo wearing typists out there can criticize me for this, but if you're not 70-year-old white man, I don't want to hear from you.
Isn't that guy, I've kind of loosely followed that, right? I got other demands on my time. But isn't that guy like a professional protester? Hasn't he been to like 800 protests and been arrested 70 or 90 times or something? Yeah.
You ever watch a basketball game where they get fouled and they fall down and they give an Academy Award president? Well, this guy was really hurt. I mean, he had blood coming out of his head. But now he's got a brain injury according to you're 70. Of course you have a brain injury. You shouldn't have been out there.
Well, you started off by saying that, as you get older, you should accumulate wisdom. Nah, there's people that are fools their entire life.
Well, and that's why I said should.
Right.
But,
it points to people do not, in today's world, people want a consequence-free life. They want to make poor choices and then not be held accountable for the results of their choices.
Yep, I agree with you.
So I'll admit that that's kind of, I haven't been following that story specifically close, but if you say he's a professional protester, I have a lot of experience with that, and that's their whole goal, is to get something, heated to come out of it, because that's what makes the news. Like back when I was working in D.C., we went through the Kavanaugh hearings. Those protests were wild, and the Capitol Police said, these people come here literally every time there's a protest, and it doesn't matter. They just want the news attention. There was one famous actress, Amy something or another. She's kind of one of America's sweetheart comedian types. She was just the most vulgar thing, and her whole goal was to get arrested, just so they could be like, look, they don't care about women's rights. So, I mean, it's just...
Yeah, same ones over and over and over.
Same ones. Same ones.
So I can't help but be struck when I pulled in this morning in the parking lot. It was the largest collection of $60,000 trucks with Harley Davidsons in the back, and one like Honda or something with a "Who is John Galt" sticker.
It's a Mazda. Thank you very much. Maserati. It's like the fancy.
It's a Maserati.
No. Maserati. That's our joke amongst Mazda owners.
Wow. So what are you guys doing this weekend?
Well, I told you earlier, I'm either going to, my plan right now is either to fly to Colorado for the weekend, or I may go to Nashville and hang out with some of the musicians I know there.
Oh, you can hang out with Lady...
A for Antebellum.
Oh, yeah, they
Previously,
can't say that anymore.
The artist previously known as Lady Antebellum.
Yeah, how disappointing.
I'm going to hang out with the artist still known as Lyle Lovett.
Actually, I kind of want to talk about that because I was talking about that last night with some friends, and we're like, this is all political stunt, the whole thing, because no one cared about Lady Antebellum and their name. Honestly, their base was probably more upset about this. And the thing is, this is actually very bad marketing-wise for them. They have gone and alienated a base without growing another one. I mean, wasn't it Abdul that had talked to us from the, was it the Urban Conservative?
Urban Conservative, yeah.
Yeah, he said...
Oh, by the way, I'm going to have a radio program on the Urban Conservative. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be awesome.
Awesome. But he even said to us, you know, black folks, they don't really, like, I mean, there are some that like country music, but that's almost like what the Lady A is trying to do, is appeal to black folks, but they haven't grown that base yet, so they've alienated one without even securing another base.
Well, NASCAR perfected that. NASCAR perfected alienating your base and watching it dwindle, pandering to people who are never going to participate in what you're selling while alienating your base.
Okay, you just said the magic word. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, I think they were trying to become relevant again when their name Antebellum, all it means is from Latin. It means before the war.
Right.
Now, I didn't specify the Civil War. It just before the war. It could be before World War II. It could be before the Vietnam War or any other war in this world.
Or it could be what most people thought of it as, a name of a band that no one ever...
Right. It's like what you said about Fort Bragg, you know, on your Facebook post. You know, no one thinks, when a soldier gets stationed at Fort Bragg, what do they think of, JD?
Braxton Bragg.
Right, in his history with the Confederacy. No, that's not what people think of.
Well, let me tell you what I thought of and what I think generations have thought of. They think of the men who trained and the women for all the wars we've been in. World War II, and they talk about Vietnam and the airborne and special operations and the magnificent 82nd Airborne. They think about Fort Bragg. It's an entity unto itself. No one, and I mean no one, ever thought to themselves, this is racist, because no one even knew it was racist, and so it becomes not racist. It's like saying, I no longer celebrate Easter because Easter used to be a pagan holiday. That is ridiculous. Let me get
to Halloween.
Or Halloween.
Right, right. Yeah, oh my gosh, let's not celebrate Halloween. You kidding? Free candy. I'm out there.
David, you used the word a while ago, and I've been saying it over and over and over in my mind so I wouldn't forget it, because I forget things easy, just like that 70-year-old guy, Fab Five, who... Anyway.
I promise not to make any old jokes like I usually do.
Well, all your jokes are old.
That's because we're all armed and you are not, and we established that before the show.
To be safe.
See, good fences make good neighbors, right?
There you go.
There we go, and she's not going to mouth off because we're all armed.
So, you got anything else there?
No, I'm good. Like I said, I'll hold off.
Okay. You do not have a right to your own opinion. Oh, wait a minute, that's wrong person. The word is pandering. You said the word pandering, and I had to write it down so I wouldn't forget it. But have you ever, and I would like to ask the entire audience this, regardless of your race, have you ever in your life seen a better example of pandering than Nancy Pelosi and company kneeling down and wearing that, and you forgive me, I don't know the name of that African garb.
Conte cloth.
Wearing that Conte cloth. That, you know what? I couldn't help but think, I wish I were able to do these types of things. I would have a video of her and company if they making a...
She couldn't stand up afterwards.
No.
Someone had to come over and get her out of her, locked-in, kneeling position.
She should have talked to me first. As a 70-something-year-old man, I could have helped her, with that. But...
That is the biggest pandering photo op ever.
Wearing that stupid thing. Not, let me rephrase that. I called it a stupid thing. Okay, all you moo-moo wearing typists. No, it's not a stupid thing. Not when it's worn by people who are sincere and really do want to wear it for the right reasons. When you throw that over your shoulder so you can go out and kneel down and pander to people who I believe can see right through it, might as well put on a damn astronaut. Oh, I don't... I never use profanity in my life, and I'm so upset I said that.
Hit that delay button. Get that delay button
Jeff,
ready, Steve. Oh, wait, Steve's asleep with the switch.
I really don't. I never use profanity ever. But you might as well put on an astronaut helmet and go out there and kneel down and suck up to the astronauts. That's how stupid it was. And then that poor lady, all I could think of, that one lady who kept trying to make sure her dress and she was covered. I don't know if y'all saw that.
I didn't see it. I just saw the picture.
It was pitiful. It was absolutely pitiful. And she was an older lady, and she was concerned for her modesty, as she should have been. And, just kneeling down. And then, I'm thinking, why are they down there so long? Well, I think Nancy fell asleep, and they couldn't get up. It's the most ridiculous.
She needed one of those I've fallen and I can't get up buttons.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I've knelt, and that's my new $1 billion idea. I'm going to develop I've knelt down and I can't get up buttons.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
You can wear it around your neck, and if you ever feel the need to kneel down and, repent for something you didn't do and you can't get up, you can hit your little button.
Well, that whole situation, honestly, though, just kind of makes me mad because it's the epitome of what politics in D.C. is. We're going to do a show good, feel good, pandering thing, but they're not the ones that are actually going to make any real bill change. They might throw some fluff into a bill to be like, yeah, look, we care. Well, I'll tell you who's doing the real work. Senator Rand Paul in Kentucky. He actually proposed an act that's for, I believe it's no knock, no enter, or something like that, for what happened to that one woman. And so this is a Republican, guys. And I looked at tweets on Twitter last night, and people were like, a Republican put that? So they're all skeptical right now because it's a Republican that's actually trying to do real reform, unlike the other guys that are just putting the contact cloth and trying to do some feel-good photos to say how much they care.
Well, you know what? And that's what makes the work you're doing, David, with Clarence Henderson, and you're doing too, Emily, so important, because it allows our minority communities to understand Republicans are the ones that are doing the real work out here. After Nancy Pelosi and company managed to finally stand up, tell me what was accomplished for minorities by them doing that. What did that do?
Nothing.
I mean, you know what it did? They were trying to atone for what Joe Biden said. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Maybe that was it.
Right.
Maybe that was it.
I saw that and I thought, oh yeah, they're kneeling because of Biden's gaffe.
Well,
that wasn't a gaffe. That's kind of how Biden feels.
Oh,
by
no,
the way.
Yeah.
No, that was not a gaffe.
Well, you know what it reminded me of when they knelt down? There used to be a show on TV called Diving with the Stars. They would get up on a diving board and they would do a dive. And there was one fella who was pathetic. He was overweight and he would dive. And when he started off, he was so crummy. And when he ended, he was crummy. But he could barely get out of the pool. And his last dive, I'll never forget this. As he teetered there on the board, in his ridiculous-looking suit, he said, tearfully said, "This one's for the troops." And he dived in. And I'm thinking, for the troops? The troops don't give a crap about your fat behind jumping in that pool. Do you think the troops are over in Afghanistan right now going, oh, what happened? We're safe all of a sudden. That fat movie that dived in the pool for us.
Colonel, can we do a fact check on that? I don't think there was ever a show called Diving with the Stars.
Oh, yeah.
You just made that up.
I thought you said a fat check.
No, we're all with that too. A fact check.
No, I can talk for fat people too, and as well as 75-year-old men. No, it was ridiculous. Look at it. Colonel's looking it up. He's going to check on me on it. Y'all have never heard of that?
I've never heard of that.
You are bigots. You are bigots.
Because we never watched Diving with the Stars?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I must have missed that one.
Sounds like a knockoff of Dancing with the Stars.
I'm sorry, it was a knockoff of it.
Oh.
If you two uncoordinated dance, you can fall off a diving board.
I mean, I probably would end up in Diving with the Stars because I can't really dance, so,
I could have done belly flop with the stars.
Boy, I can dance.
Oh, you can?
Oh, my gosh. And not just for a 75-year-old man, I can dance.
Okay, so we're going to have to see those moves one of these days.
Well, they had a diving practice with the stars.
There you go.
Oh.
Fact check right here.
Yeah. There you go. See, once again, I'm correct.
Once again.
And once again, I'm belittled for my beliefs.
A broken clock is
and
right
they
twice
had
a day.
Diving with the Stars on ABC.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let's circle back to something earlier this week, JD. You did an awesome show where you came on and you talked about the great men and women of law enforcement in this area. And
yes.
that's I was like screaming at the radio. And I want to say, I was screaming at my PC because I was streaming live from radio from my outpost in Hope County. But That's one thing I don't get about the protests here. You know, there was something awful that happened in Minneapolis, right? And by the way, you notice that all these things happen in these cities that are multi-generational Democrat controlled, right? So Democrats create a problem. You know, let me talk about this for a minute. Minneapolis has been under Democrat control for 50, 60 years, if not 100 years. So they had a Democrat mayor, they had a Democrat city council that hired that chief of police, who is a Democrat, I'm sure. They had a Democrat attorney general or district attorney. So that chief of police that they hired because he aligned with their views, he set in their training standards, he set in their disciplinary standards. That cop had 14 or 18 complaints against him. The the Democrat district attorney refused to prosecute him. She's now a U.S. senator now. So that cop is a product of a multi-generational Democrat machine. So anyway, all these things seem to happen in these big Democrat-controlled cities, and then we have people here out protesting. We don't have that problem here. You know, the people here, you know, when I see stuff like that happen in Baltimore or Minneapolis or, you know, wherever, I'm thankful. I am thankful for the quality law enforcement people here. I'm thankful for Sheriff Fields and the good people he recruits and the good policies that he puts into place. We should be thanking our law enforcement, not protesting them.
Amen and amen, David. You know, one day, a man was murdered in Minneapolis. We all saw it. It's the only thing in my lifetime that I can remember that every single person in the world, people on mountains in Tibet, agreed that was horrendous. And the next day, our country's divided about it. How did that happen?
It's crazy.
It's nuts because someone told us that we have bad police. David, I'm with you. We have wonderful police officers, and we should support them, and we should tell them, and we shouldn't be quiet about it. We should let them know.
Exactly, and it's absolutely remarkable how the mainstream media, as amplified by social media, they will say something that is completely the opposite of what we all observe with our eyes and ears, and a good portion of the population falls for it, when all you got to do is, you know, see what you're watching, apply a little bit of critical thinking, listen to what the media says, and goes, yeah, that's not the narrative. That's not what happened.
Well, you know what I want to hear? I'm sick of generalities. I want to hear, this is specifically what happened. And by the way, all of our town commissioners and councils and village, why aren't you speaking up? And if it's because, well, I know things. Well, if you know things, why haven't you told anyone about it? Why are you keeping it secret? You're the problem. And the truth is, no, we have a wonderful, wonderful law enforcement. Law enforcement means everyone, all cops. And we're very blessed, and I'm really glad you brought that up, David. And I think everyone in this should post it on our Facebook, on any kind of thing they have about thank you to our police officers. We still detest bad cops. We still detest bigotry and racism, and we condemn it as loudly as anyone can possibly do that. But we love our police officers just like we love our plumbers until they mess up, or anybody, anyone, any organization.
Well, I think they're just taking this out on the cops in general. I think that they're just, once again, this is a product of the media. They're not looking at the right place, and that's the government. They need to look at their local government, and then, yep. They need to look at the government, because that's where it's really wrong. That's where the system's broke.
Well, the Democrats, they create problems. Their policies create problems. And then when these problems surface, then they blame it on something else. And it's like, no, it's your policies that created that. It's like this takeover in Seattle. You know, they've got the autonomous zone, and people want Trump to go in there. No, I want the whole world to see. I want the whole world to see what happens when you have Democrats in control for 50 or 60 years. You know what you have? You have rogue cops who kill people, and district attorneys who don't deal with it, as you see in Minneapolis and Hope County, right? You see leftists taking over entire blocks in towns, and the cowardly councils. They're not cowardly because they agree with them, right? So anyway, I want the whole world to see what happens.
Yep, I do too. And Emily just said local government. That's where this needs to be solved. If you go back and look at the riots in L.A. with Rodney King, they did the same thing that we're doing now. You're going to have hearings in Congress. Emily, you know how that goes. They have hearings. Nothing ever comes of it.
No.
They're going to produce a big study. They're going to make recommendations, and it'll be forgotten. And they'll form some bureaucracies. They'll hire some people. They'll spend millions of dollars. But the person on the street, the one who needs help, if you will, there will never get anything out of this. It'll be the same old, same old. It's got to take place at the local level. We're blessed, as David's pointed out. We've got wonderful law enforcement. Okay, I don't want to beat that to death too much, but we do. We love our law enforcement here in Moore County.
Fix the disease, not the symptoms.
Exactly, and have some symptoms. And by the way, speaking of symptoms, one day we couldn't go outside because if we did, we'd kill 30, 40 people with COVID. Now all of a sudden we can go outside as long as we're marching. As long as we're marching, it's okay. And the governor will come with us. He won't wear a face mask either. It'll all be okay. But now that that's over, stay inside.
Yeah, the same governor who had his Capitol Police arrest somebody for stepping on the sidewalk, for crossing the sidewalk, had them arrested, and a week earlier had the reopened North Carolina crowd illegally disperse them. He was all for the protesters and rioters in Raleigh who were on his side.
All right, we're closing. Let me just say that in closing, that we've got some, I'm not going to give anything away, and a lot of it I don't even know, so I couldn't give it away, but David's got some great things coming up, and Emily does, with, that you should be watching for, with one of very much my heroes, Clarence Henderson, so that's something to watch for, not giving nothing away, but thanks for listening, everybody, and we hope you have a good weekend.
Yeah, we didn't get to the governor giving away the $100 million by losing the Republican National Committee.
Yeah,
right. I thought it was $200 million.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A lot of money right down the drain because, they get their paycheck. So it goes for this Friday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early on Monday for a Monday program. Until then, be sure to support all the businesses you hear on our radio station because these companies have been supporting you for many years, and we need to support them as we participate in the great comeback right here in Moore County. So give them a crack at your first spending dollars, and if they can do the job for you, let them have it. All right, and don't forget also that millions of Americans have fought and have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their families' sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and the Leader Man and Nick and Colt the Dog will all see you this afternoon at 2 at the dog park.